G'day, Matthew.
Hey, Shug, Fletch. Good to have tourists back.
Oh, yeah, he's up and about. He's got a bit of tan too.
Is he really?
Did you? I mean, you're quite well travelled. Did you like Scotland?
I loved it. Every time we go to the UK, we make sure we go to Scotland. The British Isles, the further north you go, the better the people get. It is absolutely true.
Okay.
He's nodding to that, the tourist.
Yeah, tourist. Do you believe that?
We're very kind people. We're very nice people.
Are you really? Well, what happened to you?
I moved over here.
You've turned into a real prick.
Well, I worked with
Real
you for
grab.
3 years. Look what happens.
He has got a bit racy since being here.
But yes.
Hasn't he?
I just said racy. I thought you were going to say, God, he got a lot racist since he got here.
No, very racy. Very
Racy.
toey. Very Roman sandal, hasn't he, Brian?
Yeah, I think you've sort of.
Oh, me? No.
Sort of rubbed off on him.
Okay,
so
right.
to speak.
Fair enough.
Where do you want to start, Matthew? What do you want to talk about? You got anything you want to talk about?
Get a bit of shit off my liver?
Yeah.
No, it was interesting having a look. Ben Hunt, Billy Walters.
Yeah, you happy with
So
that?
they're gone there. Yeah, look, I'm happy with it. Geez, I would have been tempted to keep Billy in that same role. He's been so good and coming out of dummy half off the bench. But yeah, they've got to do something there. I would have. It was interesting talking to Cooper Cronk yesterday, and I agree with him. If I was Madge, I would have been tempted to put I don't know if you could describe an outside back, but like someone who's just a great running threat, and put him in 6, and just sort of change your attack a little bit. You know, like having that 6 and Reese almost interchangeable role. Like that, I would have been tempted to go there. But yeah, I mean, Billy will do the job, no doubt.
Pretty cool, isn't it, boys? Your dad, and you've been through this yourself, Matthew, but your dad gets to wear, or your son gets to wear the same jumper as the dad, Brian. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. No, Billy, I think Billy's played. He's been fantastic this year. Whether or not he's put extra sort of maybe his nose was out of joint a little bit when Kevy was let go, but I've found that he's responded really well. Rather than sort of turn it up, he's gone the other way and said, right, well, I'm going to show you. So
who's the team then, gents? Like, I was saying to Brian before, Matty, like, if you actually went through one by one the Roosters team and said, okay, how many of these players would make a starting side elsewhere in a good side? And nearly every player in the starting side for the Roosters would be yes. Who is that player? If we assume that Penrith were to make the 4, you've got the Sharks on the peripheral, you've got the Broncos on the peripheral, and if the Roosters were to make it, they would be barnstorming into the... Who's the team to worry about? Who could make a prelim?
I don't know. The only problem I have with the Chooks is when they play those teams that don't give them ball, they sort of force their errors, and that's why they can't ever beat... Well, in the past, the Panthers, the Storms, those real teams that are really disciplined, like they're free-flowing. We saw that against the Dolphins.
Yep.
They can score from anywhere when they're on, but when they get into that grind, I feel they can't get into that quite yet.
Yeah. Do you know what, Fletch? I reckon the thing we're overlooking a little bit to a certain degree is just like Sam Walker, how he's emerged. And you see this a lot with young playmakers, right? Particularly young playmakers who are kids that would have been holding a football and wearing a pair of football boots before they were out of nappies. And that would have been Sam. Sam has built his game. He is one of the most instinctive players I've ever seen. You know, instincts that have been, you know, playing in the backyard, out the back of the grandstand, down at the park at duck, all those things, knee foot in the lounge room. That's what sharpened his instincts. And the more you do that, the stronger your instincts get. Now, what happens when you're that type of player, and particularly playmakers, when you walk into an NRL system, suddenly they have to educate you as a footballer. And being taught structure when you're an instinctive player, honestly, it's like they're fitting you for a straitjacket. And it takes a long time. I'm telling you, it takes 2 or 3 years to actually be able to merge it all together and connect the instinctive football with the structured football you've been taught. I reckon with Sam, the ACL injury, at a point in his career, he'll look back and go, my God, that year off was a blessing. Because it's enabled him to sit back without the pressure of week-to-week football and just process all the information he was saturated with. And what we've seen in the last couple of weeks is some really special stuff. That combining of his instinctive football with the good education. I see the education come out because I can see him counting numbers up a short side, 4-on-4, and he gets to the second defender to create the advantage. And the instinctive stuff is there during that broken play where he's got the football and there's moving parts everywhere all around him, and he just waits, turns, waits a bit more, holds his nerve, and then invariably finds the right pass. And you see the instinctive stuff with his kicking too. I don't think I've ever seen someone sort of wander the line with no real clear idea of what type of kick he's going to put in, but still find the right one.
Yeah.
And I just think with the Chooks, I think the Chooks are a very dangerous dangerous team because of Sam. And I really like the way Hugo's starting to play now. Hugo's gone from looking like a utility to now looking like a genuine six, genuine playmaker. I think at the Chooks, I think those top sides, the team that they don't want to make finals, I think it'd be the Chooks. Because look at the form of Tedesco and how he's going. And it's really funny when you look at this week, right? They're playing the Dogs. Dogs are 6-1 to win the comp. Roosters are $41 to win the comp. Right? But what are the odds in this game? I imagine the split wouldn't be too dramatic.
No, 2.5.
$2.65 versus
$2.5 a line.
$1.80.
But, Brian, you know what
That's
the
thing
inside...
about it. Would you be surprised, boys? Would you be surprised if the Roosters knock them over this week?
No, not at home.
So, Brian, that's great insight. And the one thing I hadn't even thought about, but we talk about this often, I think you came up with this as a rugby league philosopher, sometimes the best gifts come badly wrapped.
Badly
right?
wrapped.
And if you think about this, right, so the amount of times due to this injury, and only because of this injury, that Sam Walker has been forced to sit in the coach's box. So he's got to sit back and get that osmosis of learning about what do they actually want from me on the field. How many times has he sat in that coach's box, and now he's on the field with a better understanding as to what those who are sort of being the puppeteers want to see. It's
fair call.
It's a fair call.
He's a footy nerd, though.
Walker.
Footy nerd.
Yeah.
So
It's great. Look, in my opinion, if you're playing at the NRL level, you should be a footy nerd. Like some players sort of see it as cool to say they don't watch football and all the rest of it. Well, I say pig's arse, it's cool. It's neglectful. And the best players are the guys that sit and they'll watch all the games and analyse all the games.
speaking of great players, is Ethan Strange. Holy.
Oh, yeah, good.
Do you think he's a six, Matty? Or do you feel like he's just been put in there because Jack Whiten went? He's done an awesome job at six, but I just feel he's going to end up being like a lock or something.
Could be Fletch. Yeah, could be. He could be 6'13". He's just such a natural footballer.
Yeah.
They tell me he's excelled playing in the centres.
Yeah,
and
you could see that too, right? You could see that.
Yeah, you can. And he's such a left-sided player. But Ricky told someone last week that he's better on the other side. So I don't know whether it's his left foot away or how it works.
Yeah.
But apparently the right side is his preferred side. But, man, what a player he is.
Yeah.
When he first came into grade, it's funny. He's one of those blokes I thought, he's a good player, this little fella. And then the more you watch him, you realise some blokes just don't look as big on screen. And other blokes, the reverse. But they tell me he's a pretty big kid.
I'm wondering, can he... We just haven't seen the right... Maybe he has got a right foot step.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it because he's playing on that left side, veers to the left side and then comes sharply off his left. Maybe he's got both. Bit
of both. Well, Fletch, I think he typifies... I think Ethan and God, how am I going?
Weeks?
The old Newcastle boy. Yeah, there's Weeks, but left
Moses?
side back row. Geez.
Hudson Young.
Hudson.
Yeah.
I think those two blokes sort of typify the Raiders. Brash, confident, fast, good footwork. Those two blokes really typify this young Raiders side.
Now, we were talking about the Moses and Tallyn to Silva blow up, and I was mentioning how, and you would have seen it much more than me. I've seen some blow ups when Joey has been playing, even with Bedsy, and he's been saying some awful things to Bedsy. Do you feel that Moses went a little bit too far, or are you just saying it's heat of the battle? This is what happens.
Heat of the battle, Fletch.
Yeah.
When we were sort of taught going through that if you got your edge back row or your centre and everything, you got to bark at them. You got to get into them if they're not sitting in the right place. And look, you forget sometimes, like, you got to remember Tallyn de Silva has obviously there's something Mitchell. It's irked him there. I don't know whether he's got into him a few times, called for the football, hasn't got it, etc. And mate, there's nothing wrong with giving a bloke an attitude adjustment if he deserves it. And once you get off the field, everything's fine. Well, for most people, but it's funny with De Silva, boys. My God, players get hyped very, very quickly in this game. It felt like Tallyn was sort of just a bit part player with the Tigers, and then over the course of a couple of weeks, suddenly people were going, "Oh, mate, this kid's gonna be." And from what I saw, you can still see where he's at the moment. Tallyn De Silva, he's a talented young player. You know what I mean? Like he is a million miles away from being, the finished product or someone that you would say, mate, he's a fair way, put it this way, saying, mate, he's a very top-tier hooker. He has got a lot of stuff to learn.
You know what, right? So, boys, I was very lucky to interview, and he'd be a great guest for the backstage, Matty. Nathan Blacklock, right? He plays off one in golf.
You said that yesterday.
Mate,
Matty be all over there. Matty loves golf.
Yeah, no, but he's got a great story.
Putting.
He's got a great story from where Arthur Beetson got him, and he comes down to the Roosters, couldn't get a start, goes to the Dragons, and Max Ninnis. So he came through as a half, Nathan Blacklock, and fullback, and he said, "We're going to play on the wing." He said, "Max, I can't really play on the wing." He said, "Mate, we haven't brought you to play the routine winger role. You do you, right?" And I asked him, I said, "Why did you get so good at that sort of coming into the field?" He said, "Well, because people think about flamboyant players like Blacklock. They think, it's all off the cuff, right?" He said, "Jolie, nobody studied the tip sheet more than me." He said, "Every single game I went into, I knew exactly what shoulder this player made this tackle. He said, I studied the life out of that. And then he becomes this wonderful player,
So it wasn't sort of off the cuff,
no,
backyard footy.
No, it wasn't just off the cuff. No, he said he reckons he studied more than anyone about how to, what every player did.
Well, why don't more wingers do that then? Why don't more wingers, especially if you're going to the left, say like, why wouldn't the right winger come across? Are they worried?
Well, I like what they're doing with. Finally, we've been preaching this for a long time, Matty, for years on this show. The hybrid role. So Stephen Crichton's a power athlete, Turbo's a power athlete, Latrell's a power athlete. We don't need them doing the big carries at the back end of the field. Crichton scored a try on both sides of the field last week as a right centre.
From that scrum play?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think that is the next step in our game. Like, things change all the time. My dad once said to me, my old man, when he played through the 70s and coached in the early 80s, and I said to Dad once, I said, explain to me the way that the game was played in the 70s. A lot of it made sense. He said, Matt, what used to happen is you would form natural combinations with people in the team, and you would operate around the field in combination, if that made sense. He said, we wouldn't stay in a 10-metre corridor. He said, we learned, you balance the field, so if me and my combination moved to the left, the other guys would shift to the right. You had that certain understanding. But he said you almost moved around the park as pockets of threats. And you sort of go, okay, like people listen to that, it's hard to imagine now, but boy, oh boy, it'd be hard to defend.
Oh.
You'd create mismatches right across the field. And if you look at, like, with soccer, with world soccer, I mean, a fella called Johan Cruyff, who was one of the greatest coaches and greatest players of all time, he came out of Ajax of Amsterdam, that iconic soccer academy, and he invented a thing called total football, where the blokes who played at the back, the defenders, and the guys who were the strikers, if they needed to, they could interchange and swap. And I think that is the next step for the game. And if you've got a guy like Stephen Crichton, and Hindy said this the other night, spot on, mate. His analysm's just, honestly, he's going through the roof. But he's spot on. He said, with Stephen Crichton, you don't want players like that staying in that 10-metre corridor. Like, they're worth so much more than that.
But you also don't need them doing that. You don't need them in the paddock at the back end of the field either.
I.e. Latrell.
No. Yeah.
Look at Latrell. The two big plays that they beat the Titans. He threw that one ball to AJ, but it was the other one. He's not doing that from fullback.
But the other thing is, like, when you're at fullback, right, you imagine this, right, at training even, if you're a centre versus fullback, the running they do on their own line
Yeah.
It is like they might clock up a kilometre whilst the centre's clocked up 100 metres.
Yep.
You don't need these power athletes doing that.
Do you know, boys, I think in a team, I think every team should have a maverick player where he's almost not
He's gone to
nailed down.
Tigers.
He can, yeah, that's right. Yes, too.
So they've got one.
Maverick guy, perfect.
Yeah, right.
But the player who can almost just wander around the field, the really talented player who's got great instincts, great vision, and just do what they want.
Yep.
The Tigers did it with Ellery Hanley when he came over in '88. Ellery's style of football when he played at Wigan, they reckon the only thing he used to say was, "Get out of the way, Ellery's ball."
Yeah.
And when he went to the Tigers, initially they tried to put him in 6, and he was just lost. And then Warren Ryan just said, "Look, we're going to pick you at 3, but just do whatever you want." And you see that with certain players like Munster when he initially moved to 6 in 2017. For a number of years there when he had Cooper Cronk and those blokes operating, his role, he was a maverick player. He just wandered the field and would do whatever he wanted.
One of the great mavericks I play with, Andrew Walker. Gus moved Freddie out of 6, so Unc was fullback.
Yep.
And if we got into our 30 or 40, he was allowed to tell Freddie to run off him. It was so bizarre. Like, it was Freddie barking orders.
Yeah, I love that.
And then as soon as Unc got the ball, Freddie was like a little puppy dog.
Was he?
Oh, yeah. And he'd go, all
Why
right,
not?
sweet. Because Unky was he was freaky.
So Dylan Edwards and that,
it's-
they're built to do the paddock stuff, like, and they're just great sort of workers and that. But the power athletes, Turbo, Latrell, Stephen Crichton, we don't need them.
Treat them
mopping
differently.
Treat them differently.
That's right. They're Lamborghinis.
Yep.
Now, speaking of Lamborghinis, they've done it again. They got one up on us, Matty, the AFL.
Oh,
Now, I know you're not
Snoop
really
Dogg.
into your rap, but the Snoop Dogg. So they've gone, they had Meatloaf. That didn't really work. But then they had Robbie Williams.
Did you say Meat Life or Westlife?
Yeah, Westlife. But now they've got one on us, Snoop Dogg.
I know.
We need to hit back. Who do we hit
We've
back
got-
with?
Mate. Well, Tim O'Matic, Fletch.
Right, well, if we can
Is he available?
if we can have a hybrid, Tim O'Matic, Shannon Knoll, and the Justice Crew, if somehow they can form some sort of,
it's all
if
over.
they can have a 3-way, I'm in.
And make it Bo to dance with the Justice Crew.
Yep.
That'll bring him back.
Yeah.
What
And we'll get
what
Hamish and
wonderful
we'll get Hamish and Andy do some stand up just
Oh,
before.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And that Mark Howard myth, get him to do a bit too.
But are we just? You feel that it's a bit of a? Is it a? Because what I gather that it's going to cost them what 2 million Australian,
Yeah.
and is it to get it known throughout the world that AFL?
Well, they
is
can't
on?
do Vegas, right? So if they pay for the DOOG,
Yeah.
they can somehow get it being discussed about over there.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But we got to hit back.
Do we have to hit back?
I'm saying we need Bruce
Gotta.
Springsteen. Just give him 4 songs.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, 4 songs.
Wouldn't that be something? Just, I don't know, like it's funny, they just put so much into their halftime entertainment. Or pre-game, it's
don't.
always for us. Although I thought Kid Leroy was very good last year.
Yeah. Macklemore's
he
my
was-
favourite.
Yeah. What was that year,
Macklemore
Brian?
was excellent.
Macklemore, 17, 16.
Thrift shop.
Thrift
yeah.
shop.
Yep.
What's the song you're saying?
No, what was the year that?
Yeah, I think it was 16.
17.
What
Tourists are
about-
bullying us
why
here.
don't, boys?
Yep.
Why don't we get 50 Cent? How would that go?
Oh, yeah.
I don't mind that. Mate,
Candy shop.
Have you seen the size of him? He's about $1.20 now.
Yeah,
He's massive.
I
Keep
know.
the change.
He's
Keep
massive.
the change. Good on you, Matty. We'll talk soon.
Good on you, lads.
See ya.
See you, boys.
Now, Tootsie, it looks like Big Papa's going to re-sign.
Yeah, every time I'm on the show and he's asked me, and I say he doesn't know what he's doing.
Now
Now
he
he's know
does.
what I've been. Yeah, well, now he does, but he's changed his mind 5 times.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
but he does want to stay now. I think it's all now that all the dust is settled. He's realised he probably doesn't want to take a young family overseas. Probably doesn't want to play against the club, the Raiders, and his body's, and his performances are doing, he's doing more than enough to play another year. So I had a bit of a chat to him last week about it all, and I just said to him, mate, whatever you can keep playing. I said my body shut down on me about the last 3 years, so I was just hanging on for dear life. Whereas you're playing well and enjoying yourself, and your body's holding up. So if you want to keep going, then by all means, mate. So looks like that's the case at the moment. I know the club would love to have him, and he's just a piece of the furniture over there, a big piece of the furniture.
The Doors, massive rugby league tragics, Brian, and they sung a song. They said, "When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name." They'll remember this kid's name, Ethan Strange.
Yeah.
He's flying, isn't he?
He's a handful, isn't he? Poor old Ches on the weekend. He gave him nightmares.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going well. The kid. He's funny you say that. He probably won't remember his name. He's a bit off at the berries sometimes, but no, he's going well. He's a good kid. He's yeah, the way he's come along in the last 6 or 9 months, I think you're going to give obviously a massive rap of stick for having faith in him, but having someone like Jamal, that dominant half inside, playing inside him, it certainly makes Strange's game a lot easier, and he's just growing with confidence week in, week out, and yeah, he's got that left foot step. I don't know who it reminds me of, but it's pretty impressive, isn't it? Left foot step and defend. He's got a lot of Jack White about him at just the way how tough he is, physical and defence as well. So yeah, he's a good kid.
Has he been in the system since he was a kid?
He's been there for a couple of years now. Yeah, I reckon. So he'd only be probably 20 years old.
Central Coast boy.
Oh, right. So
yeah, Central Coast Junior. Yeah, Central Coast Junior. But he moved down to the club. Probably 2 or 3 years ago at least, I think.
Yeah.
I done a pre-season with him a couple of years ago, so he's been around for a couple of years.
So
Yeah.
you weren't here, Brian. We had Jasmine Strange.
No, I wasn't
on the program with Scope.
Yep.
And Siwa Wong. So Johnny Strange, the dad, who's now the coach, he was developing a bit of a rugby league community up on the Central Coast. So
yes, because the Chooks had them for around about the same time.
That's right.
The Chooks had that sort of junior base.
Yeah, so Jasmine Strange, Ethan Strange, Josh Wong or Siwa Wong, he lived in the Strange household.
Okay.
So there's a lot of rugby league play. Blake Steep lived with the Strange family. So
who was the recruitment officer?
So don't hang up with Strange. That rule went out.
No.
Yes.
When a stranger calls.
Yeah.
What is... So who got him? Who got him down to the Raiders?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Who was the recruitment officer? Whoever that was.
Yeah,
was
probably Joel Carbone, or maybe even the great Pete Mulholland. I can't remember what year Pete passed away, but Strange, he played juniors, I think it's 16s and potentially 18s at the Roosters. So, no, it must have been 16s. I reckon, maybe Joel or Pete Mulholland got him down there. And obviously, you mentioned his old man John. He's a good fella. He's coaching the New South Wales women's rugby league side as well. I had a good chat with him after their series victory up there, and he was happy that. I think he's happy to see Ethan down here. I think he's, it's a good spot for him. He realises it's a good club. It's a bit more chilled out, in the hustle and bustle and the pressure of the city, and he's handling that so well, Strange, at the moment. But to answer your question, it'll be Joel or Pete Mulholland. I can't really think of which one it was.
So, Brian, we are always trying to get ahead of stories here on the Run Home with Joel and Fletch. You could well see on Grand Final day, you could have John Strange, the dad, coaching Jasmine Strange, the daughter, followed by Ethan Strange in the NRL game.
Yeah, and then we can watch highlights of Curtis Strange playing the British Open.
That's right.
That would be awesome.
And then when a stranger calls.
Yes, we can watch that.
There's been some great partnerships in life, Brian, but you've got Batman and Robin. I don't know who the Robin and who's the Batman, but Mark Morri, I'm guessing, is Batman, and he's here to lead us out. G'day, Marky boy.
G'day, how are you guys going?
We're going good. Did you collect your prize, or we just nominated?
Oh, no. It's,
you won, didn't you?
No, it's on Friday night.
Okay.
We're nominated. So this is for the Kennedy Awards, named after...
Graham?
No.
No.
After
Graham.
a guy called Les Kennedy.
What was Les? Crime reporter?
Crime reporter that maybe drank and smoked and was dead at 50-odd something.
Ooh.
But no, he was a legendary crime reporter, and these awards were thought about in a pub after he died.
Yes.
And I've always heard, every time a journo dies, they're going, we should have an award after him.
Yeah.
Jack Darmody, all these guys. This one actually came to fruition and is now one of the premier journalism awards going around. It's actually up there competing against the Walkleys. It's really huge, and Josh and I have won a couple. So.
What's this nominate? What's your nomination for?
Scoop.
Which was the scoop? Was what?
When we told everybody that there was a caravan full of explosives found out at Jurel.
There we go. So what a great segue.
Yes.
Okay, set the scene again for the people who haven't heard this story. What are the bullet points?
So the bullet points is that there was a caravan found by the side of the road which had a lot of explosives, right? And in it was also a note that actually had the Jewish Museum and also another couple of Jewish targets. There was a note written there. And this was at a time when there had been a lot of attacks on Jewish schools.
Synagogues and stuff.
Synagogues and stuff like that. It was straight after, the whole controversy broke out. And this became a name, but nobody knew. The cops had kept it quiet for 10 days, 11
Wow.
days, until Josh and I found out.
Right.
Wow.
And then we wrote it, and then it became apparent, while everybody thought this was a terror plot, which is what Mins actually came out and did a very quick press conference. You can imagine the environment Sydney was in, especially the eastern suburbs. And then it came out that, in fact, this was orchestrated by an organised crime figure living overseas trying to do a deal with the federal police to come home. It's extraordinary.
So it was set up. Oh, hang on, we're just having a quick change. Just take those off, Moz.
Right.
Quick, here we go. Oh, we've got to turn our mics off.
We just had a rattling mic there, folks, so we're back in the groove here. Sorry, Moz, for that. I was trying to do it discreetly, Brian. He's put on backwards.
Yeah, someone's is still on.
I was trying to do it
mate.
discreetly, Brian. And
You're
yes.
left-eared. Sorry.
Yes, I am left-eared. And sometimes when I goal kick, people would think I was left foot. Moz. So sorry, set, restart, 60
Yeah,
goes.
so what eventuated it is that all these attacks allegedly had been orchestrated by a guy overseas who'd gone on the run after being done for massive importation of drugs, and that he had actually paid for all these attacks so that there was this fear of a terror attack, and then he was going to go to the feds, hey, I know where there's a caravan full of right? And I'm going to stop this terror attack. Thing is, let me home and don't put me in jail. But the trouble is, the caravan was put there. This bloke who lived nearby thought it was in a dangerous spot. So he's moved the caravan before the cops could find it. And he's put it in his backyard, didn't open it, went away for a few weeks. And then he's come home and opened it and gone, Christ, what's this? And rung the cops. So it's
But why did he want the caravan? Was he going to pinch it?
Well, no. Mate, that's a pretty tough sort of assertion.
But what was his?
Well, he thought it was in a dangerous spot.
Okay, so right.
Yeah, I think he was going
I'm
to
reading
pinch
between
it.
the lines.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that? How good?
But how about this guy to actually create an atmosphere of terror?
Do we know who this man is?
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name.
No, that's
but
fine.
He's on the run.
Yeah, he's thought about this.
Mate, like he's a clever guy. I don't know how they got him in the first place.
Okay, does his story back up in the sense of, was there anyone caught on camera doing these arson attacks?
Yeah,
on these?
they have. And there's been a lot of arrests, so there's a bit of alleged here. But I got to say, straight away after, we eventually went to Dave Hudson, who was the Deputy Police Commissioner, and he's gone, Christ, okay, you found out. Can you give me a few hours? I don't want to, and then he came back and he said, mate, you're right, you're okay, we can run with it. You can run with it now, everything's okay. You're not going to stuff any investigation up. He said, but mate, it just doesn't smell right to me that it's a terror attack.
Yeah.
Even though he said, they've gone and put the targets, written the targets, like it just straight away instinctively, and he was obviously correct.
Were the coppers ever believing this bloke? Like, were they ever thinking, he might
I don't
be
know.
right?
That's the federal police, and the federal police are very secretive.
Yeah, gotcha.
How close are they? The state police and the federal? Is it almost a complete disconnect?
About like Souths and the Roosters.
Oh, right.
That would be the. I'm serious. That's
Yeah,
the
right.
analogy.
Is that right?
There's a lot of friction, and this made it even worse.
Wow.
There was some real problems going on because New South Wales cops have found these explosives, and there's a suggestion that the federal cops had some sort of hint and had been in contact with this guy who was orchestrating it. So there's been parliamentary inquiries. We don't know, to this day, we don't know whether the Prime Minister was told, whether there was this caravan full of explosives. We don't know when he was told.
Was there legit explosives in there and enough
Yes,
to?
but no detonator.
Right. Okay.
Right? There was enough to do a huge amount of damage.
Okay.
So that's what we got
So,
nominated
Fletch, can you
for.
imagine, just to go on the other side of and we've got our men coming in.
Here's
Joshy
Josh.
Hanrahan.
Oh, I think we're just about finished now, Josh. It's okay, you can go.
Thanks for joining us, Josh. To have, could you just imagine, Brian, being Josh Hanrahan and Mark Morri for the Daily Telegraph, and could you imagine that you've got this scoop, which you ultimately win a Kennedy Award with?
Ben Kennedy.
No, we haven't won it yet.
Oh, well, no, you have one in the past.
Oh, yeah, we
you
have.
one in the past.
Who are you up against?
Oh, Linda
Todd
Samaras,
Woodbridge?
unfortunately,
Yep.
one of our colleagues.
Yeah.
She got rid of the Transport Minister. And I don't know, and one of our sports guys in news. So,
Right, so it's a Daily Telegraph triple treat.
Yeah, News Limited, yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Moz, can I? It's kind of awfully quiet on the streets with drive-bys and drug wars. This worries me a little bit because that means something's going to come big and fast. What are you
Well,
hearing on the
actually
street?
worries us a lot more because we'll have nothing to write about.
Yes,
So, the Cops have actually been pretty good. They've had this Task Force Falcon, haven't they, Josh?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, there we go.
here he is, Joshua.
Batman or Robin, we don't know. Mark's pushing for Batman. He's giving you Robin. Where do we land here, Josh?
Oh, he can be Batman. He's a bit more Alfred, isn't he?
I was going to say, that's what I was waiting for.
I tell you what, you're very eastern suburbs today with the
Puffer jacket.
the puffer jacket over the polo.
Yeah, it's very
jacket.
winter. It's a winter look, and one of us has to be fashionable. So that's me.
Piercing blue eyes, Brian, hasn't he? The great
He's
Josh.
a TikToker. They love him on the
Yeah,
TikTok.
they do.
Yeah, and they don't really like me.
Nah, they do. They like the rough around the edges. Josh, what are you expecting from the awards night? What's going to happen?
So Moz loves these awards nights.
I do.
He takes his partner, and he doesn't have to pay for a night out. It's his favourite night of the year. He doesn't like that, but it's the truth.
My partner that went to school with your sister, Fletch.
Oh, right. Yes, and she taught.
She teaches lots of
Piano.
Piano.
Yeah, she
That's
taught my
right,
kids
that's-
piano.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be
And
good.
then-
It'll be a good night. There's some big names there, and we'll be very, very responsible.
Is there a danger of, because you've written some articles about some unsavoury types, is there a danger, or do you feel that, is there a concern that one of these undesirables might have an in at this function and sort of confront you?
Give us the mushrooms, you reckon?
Could.
Yeah.
Could do.
Or our location.
Yeah, your location.
Yeah, that you could maybe the Sydney Morning Herald because they're getting flogged relentlessly by us. So they might.
I don't mean
tell
that.
us.
Do you ever get worried though? Like you
little.
don't seem worried about. Like you write
I
these
think-
stories.
yeah, I reckon you've asked this question before.
Yeah, well, no one told me anything.
No, it's
Tell
probably
me.
only when we get asked. No, I don't think we are their focus.
Yeah.
Like they're more worried about each other. They'd be more likely to take out they should be more worried about the police. Like,
Yeah.
we are just standing from afar.
But it happens in rugby league. When you write a story, certain journos have had arguments and threats from players.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're talking, well, that's only rugby league players. You're talking about hardened criminals.
Did you ever?
No.
You never threatened anyone?
I got a story written about me that someone else had given me up, but I had no leg to stand on because it was true.
There is a little concern, a lot more than over the last 45 years that I've been reporting. I always thought that we were, like you're saying, they're more interested in other people. But the rules have changed. They really are a bit more indiscriminate now in some of their targets.
Yep.
But
Probably with the TikTok and that,
Yeah.
and
We're
the
more
documentaries
visible.
and whatnot, it's a bit more visible too. But I mean, I've run into some of these guys and gone, "Oh, geez, here we go. This could be."
Oh, really?
And just at courts or whatever, where you're just sitting there and they've said, "Hey, say good day to Mark for me."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you
so
go, "Oh, okay,
a
that's
lot
all
of
right."
do know that although there was some guy put me in a headlock after a Kennedy at the Strawberry Hills. He was a
Hotel.
Comanchero. He wasn't real happy about.
Now, I was speaking to you off air down at, we had a beer down at Rose Bay, and you were saying to my friends that the price of cocaine has dropped dramatically wholesale.
I don't know on the
Why
street.
is that?
Because there for a long time, Australia particularly was being run. There was a cartel, and it was very, very successful in inflating the prices. It was being run, but the cops have been pretty successful in really hurting quite a few of the major syndicates. So there's a lot of smaller operators coming in, and there's a lot around, and they're just cutting the prices down.
Okay.
So, but I don't think it's been passed on.
Passed on to
street.
consumers.
I don't know.
Gentlemen, we've warmed you up. Let's get to the big one here. Front page of the Daily Telegraph and the News Limited articles on Monday. Selfie reporting, not self-reporting, selfie
yes.
reporting. Now, an accused killer being ordered by a court to send New South Wales police selfies. Tell us about this for those who have not caught up yet on the story, gentlemen. And it's hard to probably share how this comes to fruition, but you guys have broken such a huge story. Tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, so this started at the start of the year when we covered a couple of stories on a company who looked after ankle monitors. Those things that are quite, you're very memorable when you see somebody rocking that fashion choice, the ankle Rolex.
There's a lot of them. The ankle
Who
roll.
gets them, Josh?
Like, so they're given to people who go out on parole, so who've been in jail and then come out and need to be monitored.
But
or
not
they-
all parole, sorry, mate.
Not all parole,
Not all
no.
parole, just hecko crimes.
Echo crimes, or people who are on bail for serious crimes. And so that's what we have in the case here. Anyway, long story short, ankle monitors are being phased out from September. And so what's happening is any alleged criminal who's had one has to go back before the courts to work out if they can stay out in the community without one or if they need to go back into jail. And so we had a case here of a guy called Eamon Manley who's facing murder charges. And he went to court last week to work out if he still needed to wear, he couldn't wear an ankle monitor, so they had to work out what to do with him. And instead of an ankle monitor, he's already got some really strict conditions, but he's got to take a selfie every hour and send it to police.
So just a photo.
Yeah, a photo of himself.
But he also had to buy the phone for the police.
Oh, right.
He had to buy an Apple iPhone.
Because it's tracked and all that.
Well, yeah, but also so that he could send, and he had to give it to the police and give the number so that, but he had to pay for it.
Yeah, so what you've got is the court's essentially trying to come up with ways to allow alleged criminals to be monitored without having ankle monitors. And so between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m, he has to send a selfie every hour on the hour. It actually sounds funny, but the more you think about it, it's quite a onerous task.
Every
like if you've
hour.
got to remember to take a selfie every hour.
You do that at work all the time.
Couldn't they? Okay.
Sorry.
But do they have to hold up the paper with them? Well, what's to stop me just doing 10 in a row and then not sending it for 2 days?
Additionally, they have to have their iPhone Find My iPhone on, so that the police officer can see their location. People are talking about loopholes. Clearly, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the state, was happy with it.
It sounds bodgy. It sounds
the-
really bodgy.
The first loophole that people would suggest, I'm sure they've got an answer to it, would be, Brian, I'm covering for you. You've gone 12 selfies, bang, 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 bang. I've taken your phone out, Find My iPhone, or I've stayed at home, and you're gone out doing what you want, and every hour I'm just going bang, 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 bang.
I'm sure if you're thinking that way, they are thinking that way
Correct,
too.
correct.
And, there's people there, the AI tools as well. You just actually ask AI, how do I beat this system?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's on house arrest. He's not meant to be leaving.
And $5 million
the confines
surety
of his
as well.
house. Yeah, he's got some really serious. I mean, but on the other side, there was a guy who went back to court last week who is facing drug manufacturing charges, and the court decided we can't let you back into the community.
Wow.
Without an ankle monitor. So they've put him back inside on remand.
What do other countries use?
Ankle monitors.
Ankle monitor. And why have we decided not to use ankle monitors anymore?
Because there was a company earlier this year that it was discovered their company was set up to hand out ankle monitors and then monitor the people and then tell police if they cut them off or did anything.
Yeah.
And they hadn't been monitoring people for weeks.
Can I ask you this, boys?
Hang on. Why?
The company had shut down and had forgotten to tell the government or police or the courts.
So,
and
and maybe
government
the crims as well.
Well, no, even the crims. So there was a lot of accused crims who were wearing their things who assumed they were still being monitored, but they weren't.
How does this happen? How does this happen in this day and age?
That's the question the government asked, and that's why they're now 6 months
Wow.
later gone. And there was an assumption that the government would then take over and run the ankle monitors.
But they're not.
But they're not.
Who's been smuggling insects into China, boys?
Oh, yes. Jimmy Smith. What's all this about? Cockroaches, ants, beetles and spiders. The Chinese froth on this.
Well, it's not just Chinese, it's France and Canada. And I was stunned, when somebody came to me and said, look, we've got this really good story. We've busted 27 consignments of queen ants, the huge cockroach or something, which is
the burrowing cockroach.
the
You wouldn't
burrowing
shut up
cockroach.
about it last week.
Because I was amazed.
yeah,
And-
Fletcher's
They
face.
call it Connor Watson, the burrowing cockroach. Yeah.
And seriously, though,
Yeah.
the queen ant that they were going after, they were going into national parks and digging up these nests. All right. Now you can legally buy these things. Some are collectors, people like them. Some are used for weird and wonderful medicines used in Asia. But the cockroach is a pet, and it's unique.
pet?
It's a pet. It's the heaviest in the world. I know all about this. I spoke to a guy, and not only that, this cockroach, which is unique to Australia, has little babies, unlike other cockroaches that have eggs. And it has live
okay.
young,
Yep.
and the mother and father look after them for
Wow.
about a year.
These are the kind of stories we're running.
Oh, this is
These
good.
days, the
Diversity.
Daily
But seriously, no, they are making big money. Like
Well,
you
this
get-
is the thing, isn't it? Apparently they're making $8,000 a cockroach to ship it overseas.
$8 grand.
And they go into the national park and dig them up and then ship them overseas for $8,000.
Well, they're doing
Wow.
all sorts of things. They're not making that. So you didn't
Wow.
listen to me properly or read my story properly. You got the figures all wrong. But they are making lots of money. They get 2 to 10 times more
Yeah.
for what they get here. And, they're not paying anything. They're just sending them over to
Brian,
these companies.
Brian,
but hang
there'd
on.
be time
I
when
know,
we're
but
here.
Yeah.
I'm just spinning me out. To keep them as pets, not to use them as potions.
No, but some are used for that, but mainly as pets.
What about the koalas? They were yes.
So many years
Smuggling-
ago, I never got to write
gosh.
this.
How
So
long we
very,
got?
very quickly, they were
Yeah,
they were looking at ways to smuggle koalas, which would have got a lot of money, and they had injected this koala with Valium so they could see if they
wake
could,
up in its.
to wake up and
Yeah.
see if they could get it through, so it wouldn't ruffle
Yeah.
anything, and it died.
Oh,
It's like Richard Gere with the gerbil.
Brian,
Anyway.
our show is about to not die, but about to finish for the day. Mark Morri, Josh Hanrahan, thank you so much, gentlemen. Good luck at the Kennedy Awards.
Yes.
For another crack.
And the
where you've
pokies
been,
afterwards, more
yes.
importantly.
Is Joshua always late?
He's working hard, mate. He's working hard.
Where were you,
I
Joshua?
was at home making lasagna.
Oh, nice.
For the 1-year-old.
Okay.
I'll tell you, True Crime Tuesday, my wife calls it lasagna. It's a lasagna, right?
How'd you go the
Yeah.
bechamel, Josh? How'd you go the bechamel sauce?
Special, can't tell you about the secret.
Yeah,
to
secret
that
white
one.
sauce. It's all in the white sauce.
What about that dip we
Always.
had, Brian? You'll need to
Mickey.
share with the boys as well.
Oh, it's on.
Gentlemen, thank you again for joining True Crime Tuesday.
You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.